welcome to this episode of In a Car with IPR. We are in Beverly Hills, California, with Jamie McLaughlin, the founder, co-founder, and CEO of Monday Talent.
That's right.
Thank you for being here, Jamie.
Thank you for inviting me.
In your backyard.
It's three and a half, 4 years overdue, I think, isn't it?
Okay.
Yeah.
I knew that. I knew this would
I have
come
the
up,
list
so
of
here
all the
we are.
people that went before me.
I think there's only 18 others.
Yeah,
so
that's fine.
That's really good. So Jamie is the amazing chair of our nominating committee and has really brought a lot of great people to the board. So
Appreciate that. Thank you.
So do you want to maybe tell us a little bit about Monday Talent and what you do?
Yes, we're executive search and recruitment in communications, marketing and creative. Probably most known for PR and comms, hence my sitting on the IPR board and various other associations. We recruit across levels, anything I say from 2 years to 52 years, I guess. We recruit across industries, in-house and agency. But I think the thread that we have is we have a real focus on diversity, equity and inclusion. So 51% of our placements in 2022 were people of color. My business is 50% people of color as well. It's women founded and led as well. So we have that's our DNA effectively, and we're very, very passionate about that.
And as you know, IPR has a Center for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion where we do a lot of really great research.
Incredible stuff.
So, yes, including we have a study coming out on chief diversity officers and chief communications officers and their relationship. So stay tuned for that. Yeah. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your career trajectory?
Yes. I fell into, I was a straight B student. I did the bare minimum at school and then university, which makes me laugh considering I hang around with academics now and I lectured at Columbia last month. But not that I have a disdain for education. I focused on other things, sport and let's say socializing, I guess. So I fell into finance in London, hated it. Then I fell into recruitment. I was very bad at it, consequently hated it. And then my first boss, Alice, took pity on me and kind of trained/bullied me into being a really, really good recruiter. And then got pretty good at it, so then liked it. And then started a business in London. With that business, moved to New York, and things sort of exponentially grew from that. And then I think it's basically my accent. Americans think I'm cleverer than I am, I think. So, or at least they listen more. And then founded Monday with two of my partners from my old firm in 2020. That was mid-pandemic. Post George Floyd, pre-vaccination and elections and insurrections. So it was a pretty turbulent time. We had a nice year and a half and then we got a recession or whatever we're in now really. So, but adversity really sharpens the senses, I guess, and, makes you prioritize really well as well. So
today we're going to go around some Hollywood haunts and iconic places.
Yes.
And right now we are on Bedford Avenue, which is this amazing tree-lined street. But I also wanted to just note that you have lived in a bunch of places.
Yes.
Where's your favorite?
Well, New York. So I've lived in three places. Very lucky to have lived in London, New York, and Los Angeles. They're all incredible places to live. New York is definitely my favorite city. Just the people, the vibrancy, just the attitude, just the opportunity, the diversity, and the food. I live in LA now, and I love that for the weather, and then it's great for my kids, and I'm quite an outdoors person now, which still surprises me. So it's great for where I am in my life now, 29, as we know. So it's great for So LA is great for me now, but my favorite place I've ever lived is New York. Yeah.
Now we're gonna have to add a misinformation quote at the bottom. That's like, ding ding.
I'm glad you said not disinformation. It's misinformation.
What's interesting, just to clarify, misinformation is when you're not intentionally misleading. So I will correct it to disinformation.
Oh, I think Sometimes I confuse myself, 29.
And by the way, do check out IPR's disinformation report.
That was a brilliant segue, wasn't it?
Good.
I know.
How did we get there? It's really good. It was not planned. So we're going to go around some Hollywood places and all over. So are you ready to get started?
Let's go.
All right, let's do it. All right, so now we're in Hollywood near Los Feliz at the John Soden House, which was with the inspiration for the Black Dahlia murders, which is a perfect place to do filming because you kind of can't come to LA without having some sort of murder influence. So
Is that true?
I don't know. I feel like you have to do a murder tour here.
I feel like we're on a Tina murder tour here. That's what it feels
That is
like.
actually probably very true. Okay, so it's very hard to do like in a car in the front of a murder house.
Right. Yes.
let's
Again, your idea.
We're gonna try. All right. So everyone, and we usually ask this in a lot of the in a car with IPRs about their sliding doors moment. So which moment in your life with sliding doors where if you were Gwyneth Paltrow and you caught the subway or you didn't, it would have made a huge difference in your life?
Well, it was actually the tube she caught.
Was it? No, she was New York, was it? Oh, that's right. She had a British accent.
Yeah, so I actually fell down the gap in the tube once. I was carrying a bouquet of flowers on Valentine's Day, big bouquet, and I stepped and went through the gap.
Really? You
One
did
leg
not
went.
mind it?
No, so that's not a sliding doors moment, I guess, but I mean, I could have done. Yeah. Anyway, but sliding doors moment. Well, yeah, I mean, what brought me here? The day. So I had a business in London, and I hired someone to take that business over in London to facilitate me moving to New York. The day of the guy's first day, and I was moving to New York in about 2 weeks' time, he walked through the doors of the office and said he couldn't do the job anymore for family reasons. So I was like, okay, bit shocked. Was renting an apartment, flights were booked, my wife had already gone. She was very ready to go. And so it's kind of like, do I stay in London and sort of try and keep, and sort of find someone then move, or just sort of wing it and move to New York? And winged it, moved to New York, and that was really the making of my career. So so that's a pretty significant one, I think.
Okay, so Jamie, we have a study that is in the pipeline on employee engagement. Okay. And there's a lot of studies done on just general employee engagement, but not really on specifically the PR industry. Yeah. So since you know all about what's happening industry-wide as an executive recruiter, what do you think we should expect to see in that study?
Yeah, I think given the year that we've had, I think it's probably people are going to be venting some frustration there. We've seen leaps and bounds in employee engagement. In terms of the expansion of that, the sophistication of that, the elevation of that. And we've seen a real emphasis on people's mental health and, benefits and flexible working, all that good stuff. But I think there's been a lot of frustration this year. We saw layoffs at the start of the year. We've seen salaries plateauing. We've seen, PR agencies are working at their maximum. Communications departments are working at their maximum. So I think we'll probably see a lot of frustration. People a bit disillusioned, a bit disconnected. They haven't been able to move because there hasn't been jobs out there as well. So we haven't had that natural churn. So I think for a snapshot in time, which is what these things are, I think it will be frustration. But I'm an optimist, and I think if you did it this time next year, you'd have a very, very different story in terms of the study. Yeah.
Do you have any recommendations for what works well in the return to office for the?
I mean, it's so difficult because everyone has a different experience, really. So I think the trend is 2 to 3 days. I would say most agencies are around 2 at the moment, and then brands, corporations, as I said, it's probably a bit more 3 or 4. But I think people do want to be together. It's really the commute that people don't like. That seems to be what really frustrates people. If we could teleport into the office and not have to get ready, I think that's those are the 2 biggest things. It's getting normal adult clothes on and then the commute that seems to annoy people. But I think we're seeing businesses trying to, and particularly PR agencies, bringing people together for reasons, whether that to collaborate, to brainstorm, to share ideas, to learn, develop. And I think if we can make offices less like I don't want to say prison, but I'll say prison, and more like university,
Right.
education, development, collaboration, then I think that's a much better way to look at it than you got to come in Monday to Friday, sit in one of those horrible cubicles, 9 to 5, check, punch in and punch out. If we make it about, bringing people together and developing and your career, then I think that's a lot more powerful.
Yeah, and just being very purposeful, like when
Yes.
people come together.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So I appreciate you tolerating my murder fix. So are you ready to go to our next
I
location?
think we're all ready to go, yeah.
Okay, now, next stop. Here we are. Where are we, Jamie?
We're in Los Angeles.
Great.
My knowledge isn't as great, but that's the Griffith Observatory up there. And that's West Hollywood, because I can see Soho House. And then I live over there, I think. But,
Nice.
I mean,
Somewhere over there.
Yeah.
Not like in the
Round the
Griffith
corner.
Park,
No.
but down in the lowlands of it. All right, you ready to talk recruiting?
yes, that's recruit.
Okay, so recruiting, putting on your recruiter hat,
Mm-hmm.
which is your full-time job. Tell us a little bit about what is the secret sauce to make a candidate stand out, especially in like a tight job market?
I'm a huge believer in EQ over IQ, so emotional intelligence over intelligence. That's probably because I don't think I'm that clever, but actually my emotional intelligence
You're
isn't that
clever.
great.
You're
It's
clever.
kind of.
Yeah.
So I always believe that, particularly in our world, we always talk about softer skills in PR and communications and marketing in general, and they're the skills that we have. It's gut instinct, it's likability, it's curiosity, it's problem solving. So I think a lot of that falls into the emotional intelligence area as well. Being collaborative, being on the front foot and proactive, those are things that are super, super important in markets like this as well.
Okay, now what about students? Because
Yes.
they may not have a lot of, other than
Yeah.
internships and stuff, they may not have like
Yeah.
that kind of experience. What about for them?
Yeah, I mean, with students, it's all about attitude, really. And most of the students we speak to have got great degrees, they're great people, they're intelligent people. So it's really about their attitude. Are they going to show up on time? Are they going to work hard? Have they got that curiosity? Have they got courage? Are they proactive? That's one thing that we really like to see. So a lot of students, just because they haven't necessarily been in the business world, are quite passive. And what stands out, even when I'm lecturing, I was lecturing at Columbia recently, NYU, and it's the candidates that put their hand up. I ask every time I lecture at university, I say, add me on LinkedIn. I can help you find a job. Only half of the people do, really. So it's really being on the front foot, being very, being direct and then having that courage just to, apply for jobs and networking and getting in front of people. So there's lots of ways to do it, but there's not a silver bullet. So it's kind of a holistic approach to it, really.
Okay, so these are all the things that people should do
Yes.
when applying for jobs. What are like some big no-nos, like 3 big no-nos
Yeah.
for when you're applying for a job?
Preparation, or not preparing, if we're doing the negative, it's stunning how people don't prepare for interviews. Sometimes it's at the very senior level as well, because, they've been there, they've done that. Maybe they just, they're very used to, again, particularly in our world of communications, you're used to doing things on the fly. You're used to, being responsive. And so often even senior candidates fall down for due to lack of preparation. Not having questions at the end of an interview drives me crazy. You can, not personally for me, that's fine. I don't interview people that much. I have conversations with people, but not having questions at the end of a meeting with someone. There's always a question. There's always a question. And then flipping it a little bit. My biggest interview tip is finding common ground with someone. Whether that's through soccer, whether that's through music, whether that's through the university you went to, or maybe you've got a similar background to that person. That's what I've built a business doing. That is just fight. I can be Scottish, I can be Irish, I can be from London, I can be American, all of the above. So finding common ground with people really, is so important on that. So people, again, that's probably back to preparation. If you don't look at where someone went to school or where someone's background, then again you're letting yourself down there a little bit, I think, as well.
Yeah, can I talk to you about soccer?
Sure. Yeah.
So you're on the board of the local Celtic. You're a huge Celtic fan.
Yes.
True.
True. Yes.
True. And so you serve on that board.
Yeah, it's called Global Celt, which is it's an international. I always laugh when I say it. It's sort of it's meant to be a prominent businessman, but I'm not sure how prominent or businessmanish I am. But yeah, so it's and it's designed they have a very Celtic diaspora is very dedicated, very passionate all around the world. It's basically Irish and Scottish people. So they've created a group globally so if there's events here, we can come together. We try to build grassroots soccer in America as well a little bit. There's 2 million Celtic fans in the United States apparently. Yeah, so that's something I'm very passionate about, particularly the grassroots stuff as well. So.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And then you're also on the board of Concrete.
Yes.
Okay. You want to talk a little bit?
They're LA based. They're East LA, and Concreates is a creative agency and do a lot of content for. And it was created and it's for formerly incarcerated individuals. So my friend Vincent and Joe founded that. I think it was probably 4 or 5 years ago. Their philosophy is creativity without opportunity leads to incarceration. And if you look at the work that they've done, there's no truer sentence, to be honest. And they've created this wonderful agency that has has clients like United Airlines, Meta, MeUndies, a really, really strong client list.
All right, you want to go to our next location?
Let's do it.
Awesome. Hi, Jamie.
Hi, Tina.
So here we are in Beechwood Canyon in front of the very iconic Hollywood sign.
Yes, very iconic.
Do you want to tell us the history of the Hollywood sign?
Yes. I actually listened to a podcast about this
Did you?
like a couple of months ago. So I know it's Hollywood Land. It was 1923.
Yeah, I think that's right.
And it was just a housing estate. Or what would call that an estate? What would you, project?
Like a neighborhood
Yeah.
or community. Or something, yeah.
And then it fell into disrepair.
Yeah.
And then someone auctioned them off. Like Howard Hughes auctioned them all off, like each letter. So I think some people own a letter of each.
That fell off.
And and there's a rumor that Michael Jackson bought one, but he didn't. That's not a very good rumor, is it?
I don't know. Probably not.
No.
And then I know that they threw a fit because they were going to tear it down because everything was like falling apart, and then they rebuilt it, and now it's very iconic.
Yeah.
And stuff. So
Fantastic.
it is. It's amazing. Okay, so this is the portion of the show where I ask you questions, and we take it from James Lipton's Inside the Actor Studio.
Right. Okay. Well, it's very LA.
But
yeah.
our questions are much better than his.
Right.
So here we
Far
go.
away.
All right. What recommended podcast that's not about the Hollywood sign?
Well, the one that was about the Hollywood sign was Stuff You Should Know,
Yes.
I listened to that one. I listen to a lot of Celtic-related soccer podcasts, so I won't even bother name-checking them, I guess. And then I listen to like Smartless, but I think everyone does. So I listen to WTF with Mark Maron.
Oh, yes.
That's a good one. So those are my main go-to ones, I guess.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Okay, what about music?
Music, I don't listen to any new music at all. Probably nothing from 2000 onwards, I don't think, which is just because I'm old and boring, I guess. So music, I am either rock and roll, what I would call indie music, but here it's not really indie music, just guitar-based music, Oasis, the Stone Roses, that's from my era, and then Beatles, Rolling Stones, all that kind of stuff, and then house music, because Ibiza is my spiritual home, yes. So, also house music has not EDM, it's not that nonsense that gets listened to here, it's more soulful, I guess.
It's soulful house music is what you listen to.
Deep house.
For sure. Okay, what about movies?
Movies? Well, you just rubbished Martin Scorsese's masterpiece.
Don't do that. I'm going to get nailed for it.
I'm big into movies, yeah. So I just watched Killers of the Flower Moon.
But is that your favorite movie?
Oh no, all-time favorite movie is Wayne's World.
I know that.
That's on a website. And then my second favorite.
What's your second favorite?
Wayne's World 2, yeah. So so those are my favorite movies. But no, I like going to the movies as well, actually. So
the whole experience.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah.
All right. So if you had a profession other than the one you're doing now that you would like to do, what would that be?
I mean, I would want to be a professional soccer player, but do you mean a realistic one?
That's realistic.
If it was, I would be doing it. It's
Certainly not.
Yeah, but you could say that
Yeah, but
because otherwise you can say that if you would be a perfect
Yes.
Yeah, well, that was what that would be my dream. Yeah, I would have played any professional sport.
So what would you not want to do?
I mean, there's loads of things, but I think my biggest fear I used to work at a restaurant, and one of the chefs there told me his job before that was he works on a production line where he would watch stuff he'd do 10-hour shifts and he would watch things go by. If there was any faults, he had to record it. So he was staring at a clock for 10 hours doing the same thing. And I think that's my definition of going in like a factory with no windows. So like just 10 hours staring at a clock. Yeah.
If heaven, this is the last question for this. If heaven does exist, you know how it's going to go from here on.
Yeah.
If heaven does exist, what would you like God to say to you when you enter the pearly gates?
Well, I would like her to say. Do you see?
I did.
What would you like? Just hi?
What do you want to say?
Oh.
You want to just say hi?
I don't know. Come in. All your friends and family are here, and you're going to play for Celtic for eternity.
That's a good answer.
There you go.
All right. Well, thank you for being here,
you
Jamie,
very much.
today. We really appreciate it. And if you like this episode, give it a thumbs up. And we look forward to more episodes of In a Car with IPR. And thanks to Jamie, our wonderful guest today.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you for watching this episode of In a Car with IPR. Want to make a tax-deductible contribution to support this series and fund research in the profession? Please visit us at instituteforpr.org/contribute.